Have you ever noticed something strange? You might forget old phone numbers. You might forget faces, conversations, even entire phases of your life. But your first car? You remember everything. The color, the smell, the way it sounded when you started it. Even the small flaws, you still remember them. Why is that? Why does something as simple as a car stay in our memory for years, sometimes forever? The answer isn't really about the car. It's about what that car represents. For most people, a first car doesn't arrive at a random time in life. It shows up during a very specific moment. A moment when life is changing, when independence is just beginning, when freedom starts to feel real. Before that, you rely on others. You wait for rides. You follow someone else's schedule. You don't fully control where you go. But then, suddenly you do. You have your own car. And with it, something powerful happens inside the mind. You experience control. Psychologically, this moment is extremely important because the brain is not just recording the object, it's recording the feeling. The first drive alone, the music playing in the background, the quiet realization that you can go anywhere you want. That emotional intensity activates the brain's memory system in a much stronger way than normal experiences. Moments like these release dopamine, the chemical linked to reward, excitement, and emotional significance. And when dopamine is involved, the brain pays attention. It stores the memory more deeply, almost like marking it as important. That's why your first car doesn't feel like just transportation. It feels like a milestone, a turning point, a beginning. But there's another layer to this, something even deeper. Your first car often becomes connected to your identity. Think about it. It's one of the first major things you own that feels truly yours. Not shared, not borrowed, yours. And humans naturally attach part of their identity to the things they own, especially during early adulthood. The car becomes more than a vehicle. It becomes a reflection of who you are at that moment in life. Your taste, your personality, your lifestyle. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's old or basic, it still feels special because it's yours. And then there are the memories. Your first car is rarely just about driving from one place to another. It becomes the setting for moments that matter. Late night drives with friends, long conversations parked somewhere quiet, music that somehow sounds better inside that car than anywhere else. Maybe even moments of silence where you were just thinking about life. Those experiences attach emotion to the car, and the brain does something interesting. It links the object with the emotion. So later in life, when you think about that car, you're not just remembering metal and wheels. You're remembering a version of yourself, a younger version, a version that was still figuring things out, still exploring, still experiencing life for the first time. There's also something else happening. Your first car exists in a time when everything feels new. New freedom, new responsibilities, new decisions. And because everything is new, everything feels more intense. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as emotional amplification. Early experiences feel stronger because the brain hasn't adapted yet. It hasn't become used to things. So the emotions hit harder. The memories stick deeper. And your first car becomes part of that emotional landscape. Compare that to later in life. You might buy a better car, a faster car, a more expensive car, but it doesn't feel the same because by then your brain has changed. You've experienced more. You've adapted. The emotional intensity is lower. This is why people often say something interesting. My first car wasn't the best, but it was my favorite. Not because it was perfect, but because of how it made them feel. There's also an element of imperfection. First cars are rarely flawless. They make strange noises. They break down sometimes. They have small issues. But instead of pushing people away, those imperfections often make the connection stronger because people invest time and effort into them. They fix things. They take care of it. And psychologically, when we invest effort into something, we value it more. This is known as the effort effect. The more you put into something, the more meaningful it becomes. And then, eventually, most people move on. They sell the car, upgrade it, or simply stop using it. But the memory stays. Years later, you might see the same model on the road, and for a moment, everything comes back. A feeling, a memory, a version of yourself you haven't thought about in a long time. And that's the real reason people never forget their first car. It's not about the engine, or the design, or the performance. It's about what that car carried: freedom, identity, memories, and emotion. Because in the end, your first car wasn't just a vehicle, it was a moment in your life, a chapter, a beginning. And maybe that's why no matter how many cars come after, that first one always